Stamford Bridge is no longer a fortress. It's a revolving door. The current Chelsea hierarchy has just pulled the plug on yet another manager. Liam Rosenior, the man handed the massive 6.5-year contract in January, was gone in April, just 104 days. The Chelsea project was officially on life support. But amid the fans' protest, the record financial losses, and the sheer exhaustion of the Blueco era, a new name has emerged to stop the bleeding. Xabi Alonso. To understand why Chelsea are desperate for Alonso, you have to look at what he represents. At Bayer Leverkusen, Alonso wasn't just a manager, he was an alchemist. He took a club historically known for falling short, never Leverkusen, and engineered a historic unbeaten Bundesliga title run in 2024. He proved he could build a cohesive, tactically brilliant machine out of young, hungry players. He became the golden boy of European management. But football is brutal, and momentum is fragile. Alonso took his dream job at Real Madrid, but the reality of the Bernabeu hit hard. It's a club whose internal dynamics, intense politics, and sky-high expectations routinely eat managers alive. And after just 7 months, his tenure ended abruptly in January 2026. Alonso learned the hard way that when you manage the absolute elite, patience is a myth, and past miracles don't buy you future time. Now he's a free agent, a brilliant mind with a massive point to prove. And Chelsea, they are a club desperate for a brilliant mind to fix the billion-pound mess. Which brings us to the core of the issue. The damage currently defining Chelsea Football Club. When the Clearlake Capital Consortium bought the club, they pleaded a long-term data-driven vision. They spent roughly $2 billion stockpiling the brightest young talent in the world. So they said. And they locked them into enormous 8-year contracts to amortize the cost. But 4 years into this regime, the system is breaking apart. The fans have revolted. In April 2026, the Chelsea Supporters Trust penned a damning opening letter to the board. The language was unflinching. Fans have no trust in the current leadership. Protest under the banner, "Not a Project CFC," are spilling out ahead of match days. Supporters are tired of excuses. They are tired of being priced out of their own stadium while being told to blindly trust a vision that looks increasingly like a spreadsheet experiment gone wrong. The fans don't want a project anymore. They want a football team. They want their team back. So why Xabi Alonso? Because the Chelsea board knows they are entirely out of time. The gamble on an inexperienced manager like Rosenior backfired spectacularly, making the ownership look naive. They need a name that commands instant, absolute respect in a fractured dressing room. A manager who has played at the absolute pinnacle, won everything as a player, and proven he can build a winning culture as a coach. Alonso is the ultimate trump card. The front office theory is that Alonso's tactical acumen, his fluid possession-heavy system, can finally unlock the potential of the incredibly bloated yet talented young squad. The narrative being spun to the press is that Alonso will come in, stabilize the sinking ship, and mold these raw prospects into dominant forces. But there's a catch. Alonso isn't foolish. He isn't going to be fooled by this. After getting burned by the volatile politics in Madrid, Alonso is reportedly demanding ironclad guarantees from Chelsea before he considers putting pen to paper. He wants editorial control over the squad. He wants a definitive say in the transfers and strategy. He knows that walking into Stamford Bridge right now without authority is like walking into a burning building with a water pistol. And this leads us to the ultimate question. Are Chelsea actually changing their operational model, or are they just lying to fool the fans? The abrupt dismissal of Rosenior and the aggressive pursuit of a heavy hitter like Alonso suggests a pivot. The club is actively briefing the media that they are now prioritizing proven experience to restore the team to the elite level. On the surface, it looks like a total admission of failure. An admission that buying a team of 20-year-olds and handing them to a developmental manager doesn't win you the Premier League. It gets you 9th place. But let's be entirely candid. You don't abandon a multi-billion-dollar financial model overnight just because you change the guy in the dugout. Chelsea's books are highly restricted. They just reported a £354 million pre-tax loss, a record for any Premier League club. They are legally and financially bound by the amortization of those massive long-term contracts. They literally cannot afford to hit the reset button, scrap the youth project, and let Alonso buy a whole new squad of prime age, £80 million superstars. So the so-called model change is like an illusion. It's a compromise born of absolute panic. It's a PR necessity. The ownership desperately needs a human shield. They need a marquee manager to absorb the fury of the fan base and buy them another year of patience. If they hire Xabi Alonso, they aren't giving up their youth project. They're just hiring a much more expensive, much more credible teacher to try and force it to work. For Alonso, the risk is monumental. Though if he succeeds, he is the saviour who resurrected one of England's biggest clubs from the ashes of corporate greed, proving his genius goes far beyond Germany. But if he fails, he's just another high-profile casualty, chewed up and spat out by the Clear Lake machine. But for the fans, the skepticism is entirely justified. A new shining manager doesn't fix a broken internal structure. It doesn't fix the feeling that the club has lost its soul in the aggressive pursuit of private equity return on investment. Xabi Alonso might be the perfect man to fix the football on the pitch, but whether he or anyone else can fix the damage done in the institute of Chelsea Football Club, well, that is completely a different gravy.